Good afternoon, you wee. What in the same hell is that? Seriously, look at how weird this vehicle looks. Looks like a Hydra. Good afternoon, you wee bastards, and welcome back to War Thunder with Koala. This thing right here, God, I cannot get over how strange this thing looks. But this right here is the Bradley Air Defense and Anti-Tank System, or ADATS, which we will henceforth be calling the Bradats. That alright with you? Bro. So lads, this is the first counter, or competitor should I say, that we're seeing for the Russian Tunguska. It's an American mobile air defense system mounted on the M2 Bradley chassis, but rather than a twin-tow anti-tank missile launcher, the Bradats features two quad SAM launchers on either side of the turret, firing the MIM-146 laser-guided missiles. Basically, what this is an upgrade to the Bradley, giving it powerful air defense capabilities while retaining, or actually improving upon, the anti-armor capability. So the history behind this vehicle is quite interesting. As many of you may not be aware, the M163 Vulcan Air Defense System, or VADS for short, was not completely phased out until after the Gulf Wars. That's right, the US was still using a Vietnam War AA vehicle until the early 90s, firing at Su-27 flankers at the bastard. Actually, I'm sure the VADS never needed to fire at a flanker, but, you know, time frame. I've spoken about this in my recent Update 1.89 wishlist video, and damn have I been on the money with that so far. But what I brought up there was that America really doesn't use all that many self-propelled SAM systems that would fit into War Thunder. There's the MIM-23 Hawk that entered service in 1959, which I believe has to be towed by another vehicle, and the missiles it fires are semi-active radar homing. That vehicle obviously also has no gun as well. There's the MIM-72 Chaparral that entered service in 1969, which fired AIM-9 Sidewinders and was designed to be used alongside the VADS. So think, while the Tunguska and the Gepard with Stingers have both high rate of fire cannons and SAMs, the Americans used two separate vehicles to achieve the same. Both of these two vehicles, the Hawk and the Chaparral, were phased out in the mid to late 90s when they were replaced by the MIM-104 Patriot, which, oh my god, 100-kilometer range sound good to you? Yeah, not so much. Alongside these vehicles, America's main air defense systems are all manpads, or shoulder-mounted SAMs, and I don't think we're quite ready for infantry in War Thunder right now. So alongside those systems, and the damn US Air Force, that is the US Army's main way of combating hostile aerial threats, the frickin' US Air Force, alongside them we have vehicles like the M1097 Avenger, which is a Humvee with 4 or 8 FIM-92 Stinger missiles, the M6 Linebacker, once again a Bradley-based air defense system with Stingers. It replaces the twin-tow launcher with a quad Stinger launcher and retains the 25mm cannon. There's also the LAV air defense variant, once again mounting 4 Stingers and a 25mm, this time the GAU-12 Equalizer Gatling gun, which has a rate of fire of around 3,500 rounds a minute. But none of these vehicles have optically guided missiles, they are fire and forget, unlike the Tunguska's missiles, although oddly enough the 2K22M Tunguska utilizes fire and forget missiles, while our earliest variant uses the, I believe they're Beamriders. And in War Thunder, they end up becoming more powerful because they can also be used against tanks. One day, I hope we'll actually get the modern 2K22M variant of the Tunguska, as well as the LAV AD, the perfect counter to it, because that would just be awesome. Although only if we're using like F-14s and MiG-25s and not bloody Super Sabres, alright Gaijin? But then there's this thing, equipped with both search and tracking radar and 8 multi-purpose missiles that are optically guided. They're Beamriders. The turret, the system itself, was actually designed to be put on the M113A2 chassis, that's how it's used in service, and this variant put on the Bradley chassis only had a couple of prototypes built, but considering how expensive it proved to be, never entered mass production. Unlike the M113 based ADATS, this iteration features the Bradley's famous M242 Bushmaster 25mm chain gun, and I'm not sure if it will have the same belts found on the M3 Bradley at 8.0, but I suspect so. Now, these MIM-146 missiles aren't just good for deleting helicopters from 8 kilometers away. By the way, they are meant to produce very little smoke, allowing you to see the missile more clearly, and have a velocity of Mach 3. Holy crap. Actually, now I'm just thinking about how funny it would be to see a MiG-31 Foxhound literally outrun these missiles. But these missiles also function as ATGMs, with the same effectiveness as a TOW-2, 900mm penetration in RHA. 900mm, that's insane. Seriously, move over, Big Tungus. There's a new SPAA tank destroyer in town. Obviously, you can only carry the 8 of these things. They're so massive, which is what makes the vehicle overall look so strange to me. So, like the Tunguska, once you've fired all 8, it's off to the nearest capture point for you. I reckon that the ADATS is going to really give the Tungus a run for its money this patch, and yes, that does mean that there's even more of this type of vehicle, making it difficult for you in your aircraft and helicopters, but at least this one only has a Bushmaster rather than those 30mm that just put up a wall of rounds, so it might be less effective against fixed-wing aircraft. For everybody complaining about, oh, Gaijin didn't learn with the Tunguska, now they're just adding more of the same cancer, Gaijin did learn with the Tunguska, I think. And trust me guys, all nations having these things is going to be a bit crappy for your aircraft game. Of course, that'll make the tanks only game mode crowd happy, but having only one nation with a vehicle like this is even worse. My concern is that with a comparable warhead to the TOW2, does the ADATS missile have the capability of airbursting? I mean, I assume it does, but if it doesn't, then it's going to really struggle to match the Tunguska's effectiveness against fixed-wing aircraft, as well as helicopters at the maximum ends of its effective range, although you never really have to fire 8 kilometers away in the Tunguska. Any helicopter within a 5 kilometer range really isn't that hard to score a direct hit on, but yeah, I'm not completely sure if these missiles are airbursting. I assume they are, but if you know for sure, then let me know down in the comments. My other question is, where exactly will this vehicle go in the tech tree? I mean, the name says it all, air defense anti-tank system. So where does it go? Does it follow the Bradley in the light tank line, or follow the Sergeant York in the SPAA line? Considering that the Tunguska isn't really meant to be as effective as it is in-game at tank killing, those missiles really shouldn't be doing that much to an MBT, but we don't have spall liners properly modelled in-game, so they kill Abrams pretty easily. So the Tunguska is undeniably a dedicated air defense vehicle that just happens to be good at tank killing in War Thunder. But this vehicle is designed to be equally capable of both roles. I know European Canadian brought this up, stating that the ADATS should go into the light tank or scout tank line following the M3, but I respectfully disagree. In my opinion, I think it should go into the SPAA line. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we've had an AA vehicle that doubles as a tank destroyer. YAG-10, Rumblewind, ZSU-57, Sergeant York, Automatic. The Automatic is literally another vehicle designed with the express purpose of doing both jobs. It has an APFSDS shell, for God's sake. So if the ADATS gets put in the light tank line, then the Automatic at least has to be moved into a tank line as well, and the YAG-10, once again, probably should. I mean, the Zugkraftwagen in the German tech tree is a tank destroyer. The YAG-10, on the other hand, is actually in the SPAA line. Consistency really isn't a Gaijin's strong point. Putting the ADATS into the AA line means that we can also get the M3A3 variant of the Bradley in the line at perhaps 9.7 to 10.0. This variant would fire TOW2s, but out of the twin launcher rather than having 8 missiles ready to go, and it lacks the ability to be effective against aircraft, and definitely doesn't have airbursting potential. But its M242 Bushmaster chain gun would receive the M919 depleted uranium APFSDS with around 200mm penetration, which means you could punch right through the side hull of a T-90 a kilometer away. I also think that in time we will get vehicles like the Avenger Humvee, the M6 Linebacker, perhaps one day we'll even get the Patriot, once we have really modern vehicles like the F-16 Falcon and MiG-29 Fulcrum. I'd also still like to see the M1128 Striker mobile gun system, Gaijin, so since my predictions for this patch have all been spot on so far, mind if I just go ahead and predict that? You can add that this patch too, that'd be grand, thanks. Anyway lads, that's it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed and that you leave a like if you have, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, join the 360 squad, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to come follow me on Twitter and Twitch, shout out to all the lads who dropped by on today's livestream, it was awesome to see you all there. Come join the Discord and check out Patreon if you wish to support the channel further. Thank you all for watching, have a lovely good day, and always remember, improvise, ADATS, overcome. I say a wee thank you to these lads for supporting me on Patreon. Seagull Nuts, DA261, Gisli Gararson, and Dark Recon. You lads are bro. If you wish to join them, come check out the link in the description below.